Peace. Finally got this shit going because couldn't get the passwords correct. You know what I mean? But we here. Man, I come in here and I finally get the internet connection and I see all y'all brothers just commenting like hell in here. To be told there ain't no video, there ain't no class going on. But I'm in the school now. I don't know if y'all can hear me good. You let me know. Whoever's here. All right. Let me know. We all masked up over here, you know what I mean? It smells terrific in here. You know what I mean? But let me know. All right, you hear me good? I expect the quality that I had last week. All right. All right, so the microphone is good. Microphone is right and exact. So yeah, I'm real late. I've been trying to get this on. We still have some discrepancy with the correct passwords and everything. So so I wasn't so all the passwords I was using were incorrect though. So basically, it's just me and the god dog Kim here. So we had to use the hotspot and everything like that. But it's gonna take me a while to read all these comments though. I'm gonna be here at least till 10 o'clock though. So since y'all, actually came in to build, salute to y'all, man. You know what I mean? Salute. I appreciate the patience and the impatience that I'm seeing in the comments here. You know what I mean? Let me see if I can open my files because everything is a little bit glitchy, today. So even using the mobile hotspot has, for some reason, made my it's made my mouse on the laptop a little awkward to say the least. All right, so don't read the comments. Start anew. Indeed, yeah. If you have any questions about anything, let me know. I'm probably just go stream of conscious here and build about things that I think are necessary that y'all need now, y'all ought to have or to need. But whoever's here, make knowledge born. I see the number is pretty surprising considering that I couldn't even get this thing going until 2/3 of the way. I got here earlier and the vibe was peace. You know what I mean? We got the mask on and everything. You know what I mean? My family bugging out because about this whole situation. So trying to appease them, but the air is good here. The vibe is peace. Everybody is clean. The school is very clean. And everything looks good. So, all right. So since I'm not getting any comments, some questions or builds. Again, we back on. The whole goal is to have this thing streaming. And I envision that the stream is going to be the most useful as we go along because we're not going to have a lot of students won't be making their way to the class soon enough. You know what I mean? But yeah, universal truth. I am gonna go back and read the comments later, like maybe tomorrow and stuff. They do look kind of funny. You know what I mean? All right. But make knowledge born though. Let me know how you see today's mathematics. Any other questions that you have about anything. And just a note, some of my students, you're realizing that I teach many students. So the closer that we build, the more directly that we build is all based on you. It isn't based on me. I don't look at a student and say you're a prize student, or look at another student and say you're not as prized. Now I can, because I've been doing this a long time, I can look at an individual that's come into my classroom and tell if they'll be consistent. And obviously with the back and forth conversation, I could I can honestly derive if they are a terrible student, but that's totally different. You know what I mean? But all right, smells good. Looks like he's on some funny stuff. I don't know, a lot of builds, a lot of emojis. I'm gonna be honest with you. I see something here where smells good said, been thinking about having children more now, both parents return. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm gonna say this though, right? Children are a blessing. You know what I'm saying? And you have children so that way you could get something. You get something out of these relationships of having these beautiful children of yours. You know what I mean? But if it's a major reason that you have these children to fill the void, of any kind of void that you think, understand that you might be you could be making a mistake of foresight. Not because you shouldn't be having children, but that can't be the only reason. The reason is because the minute that those child or children are born, they are to be seen as they truly are. They are their own entity, their own individual. And now you are there to really serve them. So think about this. The knowledge says that we're the true and living God, the maker and the owner of the planet Earth. When you're the owner of something, you are responsible for something, right? You're responsible for everything around you, okay? You're responsible for its well-being, and you're responsible for its upkeep and all that. Being a true living God, then that means that your creations are what cause the effects around you. What are you creating? You recreate this life, though, it has a life of its own immediately. So it goes from that knowledge, wisdom, understanding, that inner reality, all the way to the outside world. And the thing is that once it's born, though, it's living its culture. You will share with it, but it's living its culture. It has its own reality that's going to live out. So these children aren't a complete vessel of your direction once you create them. You know what I mean? So they cannot be responsible for fulfilling the void that you think you might have. Even if you say children might be, will be a blessing to have them, right? Or it might, feel empty, or it might this. The truth is that once you have them, they're really their own people, and they have to be treated that way. And they're not here to satisfy you. And that's the intriguing thing about it. And by serving them completely, protecting them, showing them this knowledge, helping them and developing all the forms you can to draw out their talents, right? Then those children become what they truly can be, and what they were meant to be, right? And that goes with the day's mathematics, though. You know what I mean? It's the interesting thought. You know what I mean? Then you're not having a child by yourself. You're having it with another female. You cannot have children with a female if it just feels like you've done everything else with that female. You know what I mean? And now the relationship is in a stupor. You have to really do the analysis to see if having that child is what's meant to spark the intrigue of a relationship. Then these are mistakes as well. You know what I mean? But once the child's born, your fulfillment via them is totally secondary. It's secondary. It has nothing to do with you. It gives a goddamn about you. You know? Just keep that in mind when you think like, I'm the maker and the owner and this and that. We're the maker and the owner because we don't try to own it. We just make it. You know what I mean? We naturally own it. We naturally own it because we're the only one that can continue to upkeep it. How do you upkeep everything in the universe that's created? You can only upkeep it by continuing creation, continually creating. Right? Just some thoughts. Right? Universal Truth said, how do y'all see born coming before cipher? It don't come before cipher. When you see your supreme mathematics, you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. That's a fact sheet. That's not the cycle of reality. It doesn't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. That's for your paper. It goes knowledge add on a cipher. So there is no reality of born and then cipher. Okay. Once something is born, though, now you add knowledge to the cipher. That new cipher, that was what? Born. Right? These mathematics are all connected, but they are all what? They're all their own individual entities as we build with them, but they don't have an existence separate. Okay, their existence isn't separate. Okay, got to do knowledge. Why is you is correct? Got to do the knowledge to born, then you add on to the cipher. Once you complete that reality 1 through 9, then you can add on universal truth answer to why is you. You see that you add on by doing something what you've given life to. Once it's made, you give it a life cycle. Again, just applying that to children, though, you don't give your children their life cycle. Okay? Right? You've given them part of that life cycle. Right? And they got names for it in every language, though. Even in Qigong, they have names for it. But they are different. You know what I mean? They're different. But trying to get comfortable with the mask, I have to wear it all this time, And let me say something about all of this virus stuff. There's a good feature on Democracy Now. Let me look it up real quick. Good feature on Democracy Now about let me see, they had it on their show. Let me see where they had it. Okay. Today's Democracy Now episode had a feature. Let's see what it was called. Yeah, about a UN report that links outbreaks to climate crisis and industrial farming. Basically much to do about trying to find a word here for it. So almost there. I saw this feature, so maybe my familiarity, I could find the word faster. Yeah, basically that, it's one of the zoonotic diseases, because it went from animal to man. The putridness of the earth as the way it's treated though is going to lead to all these things. But one thing about this pandemic though, understand that many of the conspiracy theorists, or just people that disagree with the logic of it, they tend to put extra emphasis on the power of the devil. You know what I mean? Like they're supreme builders. They planned all this. They didn't plan shit. They planned to put something out there and see what would happen. But to say things, and I disagree with commentary where they'll say things like that make logical sense. Like, for example, people make logical sense out of ideas like I saw this in one thing. I think it was the guy Saeem. He had put this up in his IG story, shared this post that they're doing all this so you can wear masks and perfect facial recognition software and stuff. They don't need to do that. They don't need to do all this to do that. And you see how it's post logic. Sometimes in conspiracy theories, though, people present a post logic and make sense out of the lie. Well, the post logic doesn't have any proof either. So that's a problem too. You know what I mean? It says here my shit is unstable, so let me wait until. All right. To me, this virus is a lot like the AIDS when AIDS first came out. There's a lot of contradictions and hypocrisies in the directives that they give because they don't really know, what's going on. You know what I mean? And many try to sincerely err in the way of caution. Some people realize that they can make money by the erring in caution because there's a destruction of our communities as we stay halted and don't do anything to survive. And then there were those, on the Trump side or whatever, that they can just totally say that it's flat out lies, though. And if there is any actual virus, though, you would get it anyway by default, right? But one thing that is being shown out there is that the ratio of death to actual cases is increased. So it's really not. I got to do the knowledge again. But from what I remember seeing before, it is not that much more drastic than a lot of other diseases and things out there. You know what I'm saying? So when you go out there, if you're not going to use your mask, then use it so that way you don't have to deal with the cops. Though that way you don't get stopped for anything, and you ought not get stopped. So if you're not going to use it for health, then use it for that. Understand this though, that if it's so penetrable, the virus, you're going to get it anyway. Okay? If you could practice good, consistent hygiene, what's really going to happen with good hygiene and better diets is not so much that you will absolutely make sure that the virus cannot penetrate, but you will block it. But what it is that you will defeat it. You know what I mean? So it's an important difference, though. You know what I mean? So you got to build anyway. You got to build like it is. You know what I mean? And take some of the precautions, even if they don't always have a consistent sense, or they cannot be. The application seems moot in certain ciphers, right? These recent comments, though. Today's math. Wise you said today's math is born. Everything made complete. Got to be real from knowledge to born. Anything less is not complete. It is mysterious and unknown. That's not incorrect, wise you, but it's a little bit abstract. You know what I mean? What do you mean by gotta be real? You know what I'm saying? Right? So now you would have the assignment though. Let's look at an assignment that you could have from this. Plot it out one on the paper, 1, 2, 3, all the way to born, right? And try to think of a situation that had to go from knowledge to born and had to be real, or else it wouldn't go. If you can't, then you're still mired in the abstract. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get my glasses on so that way I don't have to stick my head inside the laptop. All right. But it's one assignment though, because the assignment isn't just to say something correct. The assignment is that when you get the day's mathematics and you can explain it, then how can we go out into the world and apply that? How can we meet our brothers and sisters and actually build with them with the principles that we're getting, with this? You know what I'm saying? Right. Smell, as good said. Okay, answering about the child. Not to fill a void, been coaching youth b-ball for years, tour with signed with Syracuse. That's great. My physical sister just made me wear some race rage this week, and she was resident with both of our parents before returning. Okay. But that's peace. That's peace, God. You know what I mean? I don't want anybody to take a statement that I read and take it like I'm judging you. You know what I'm saying? Oftentimes I'm just riffing off of it, to see. Obviously, any statement that you made, do not assume that I'm taking it exclusively or inclusively of all that you are. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times I'm just using it to catapult, off that. You know what I mean? And it could build something with that, right? Yeah, okay. All right. Wise you, that's real peace. Planting seeds for food, from seed to harvest, that's peace. That would be an example of that, certainly an example of born, right? But you still got to break it down. This is a homework assignment, though, because I want you to think about it. I don't want you to have that answer all straight up. A lot of times, God's like our culture. And what I mean by our culture is like our daily culture, like the way we lived it literally right here, being on the block, coming to the school, being on the corners with this knowledge. Literally, we're literally having to come up with a solutionary build at every turn. That's not really how it goes. You need to understand that some of it is homework. You know what I mean? Now, if you could take something and plot a seed and take it through born, then you take an example of, I would want you to take an example of something that you did in life. You know what I'm saying? And then even learn to plot it for something that you intend to do, right? And if you could plot it for something that you intend to do, then what happens, right? What would be the parts from knowledge to born, wisdom, understanding, the culture, its power, the equality brought forth, right? The way it rejuvenated by reaffirmation of you, God. How are you able or not able to build and destroy and decipher due to that, right? In other words, what was the universal change? Was the universal change, right? All the way to born. What step in there would be flawed? How would it be flawed? You know what I mean? What happened right during culture that allowed it to continue on the power and equality? How did it really reach an equality that you were able to what? You know what I mean? Right? So that's the point, though. Right? I see a lot of school in Mecca. A lot of school in Mecca. Is that inf? It's been a while. Peace to God. You know what I mean? Peace to God. Definitely missed. You know what I mean? I didn't realize how much I missed school until I got here. You know what I mean? It looks very clean, very cleanly. There's very little clutter. Right? Social distancing is in effect. The floor's all marked up, the classroom, right? So it looks all right. It looks all right, you know. So when I finally get these all these the proper Wi-Fi hooked up, then I can get on this earlier, you know, on time, you know. Right now I'm using Dark Kim's mobile hotspot plug from his phone plugged into my laptop, so that way I can do this. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Indeed, wise you. Yeah, you can definitely do. Yes, you can definitely do. That would be, you know, be a personal one first. You know what I mean? You got to write these things personally. You got to write these things for you. You know what I'm saying? How you're going to build them. Use them. See, how do you know when a plus lesson or something you wrote that you think is a plus lesson is suitable for the outside world? And say, yo, I got a plus lesson for everybody, right? You know how you know? You wrote that plus lesson and it has some understanding you never heard before. Now that's one requisite that may not be it, because you may not know enough people. You know what I'm saying? That you may not know enough gods. Like you didn't even know that they wrote that some shit like that already. However, the real test is if to see if something you have is you feel is valuable that you could share is what? Is if you actually used it. And I mean, not that you wrote the plus list, this is how I see it, though, boom, boom, but like you went back to it and you researched, and now it's truly, you know, like you went back to it and it's a formula that you use in your life. You know what I mean? And the thing is, though, like, and I'm saying that from personal experience, when I talk about triangle of power, these are this is Sunez's own mental cues, you know? When I say build awareness square, when I evaluate myself, this is how I do it. When I think of, am I being stagnant or not? And this is what I ask all the time. Am I being stagnant? You know, anytime that I'm in a moment of relaxation or anything like that, I'm always thinking, am I being stagnant? And what arises is the triangle of power. And I go, well, what is the triangle of power? How useful it is. And then I say, well, what is my triangle of power? What is the focus by which I can what? Do the knowledge, right? Right? Do the knowledge and study, right? Practice and activate and practice. What can I continually practice? Linking with that study. And then how will I constantly create? That's a triangle of power to me. And then usually for me, it usually ends up with those crucial things: the um, reading, training, and writing. You know what I mean? Because I'm a writer. You know what I mean? I could also say I'm an educator, though, but that kind of goes with the writing and stuff. The secrets to me being able to teach all this stuff is because I spent many times writing this stuff and then literally remembering um, everything that I've ever, written. You know what I mean? But how are the goals going? You know what I mean? The last couple of weeks, I've asked students to learn how to take the next steps digitally, request things out of me, share their life, like 13 student here, right? And see where we could go with it, though. You know what I mean? Be honest about what you need and where you've been at and what you're doing. And brothers have been, and it's honestly, it's an honor to hear the intriguing stories. You know what I mean? And seeing the updates, right? As Gregory says, peace to the class, and tells me peace, right? Definitely some excellent progress. You know what I mean? Right? One of the major goals in the classroom curriculum, right, is for you to find your talent. You know what I mean? And if you don't find your talent, that means you're not, the way I see it is not that you don't have one, is that you were improperly exploring. You know what I mean? You're not really going through it. You know what I mean? You're not really studying different things. You're not taking the risks to see if you can. You know what I'm saying? These are the things that you need to, do the knowledge to. You know what I'm saying? How can we do that? You know what I mean? So that's important. That's very important. You know what I mean? And have a regimented structure. You know, I can't really go through it right now. You know what I mean? But what's the name of one of the plus lessons is that I'm going to teach that I wrote, obviously. Get the exact name. It's interactive planning. You know what I mean? To me, that has directly to do with born. You know what I mean? And it probably was going to be what I go into. You know what I'm saying? Not because I'm only going to take a half hour here. I have a long way to travel. I live in Staten Island now, so, and then with this whole, Corona, it takes a different, I have to make sure I get home at a proper time. You know what I mean? So we pretty much all are prisoners to the quarantine, you know? And mind you, going back to that the whole COVID thing and everything, it is very frustrating because if people are paranoid for what is going to happen, understand that they knew something was going to happen because things were not done, right? But to assume the deviousness of coming phases is a simple logic, right? But it's also awkward. And anyone that's dealing with this is open to conspiracy because of the awkwardness of the expected phases that's supposed to be coming. Because first thing is that they don't really know how this virus acts and how it reacts. So if they don't really know how it reacts, then how can they say that there'll be a phase 2, or when there will be a phase 2, or how there will be a phase 2? So the thing is, though, is that the honest truth, most likely, and I see it, is that they don't really know the intensity of these phases. You know what I mean? So the thing is to continue to be vigilant. You know what I'm saying? There will be no problem having a regimented structure of having consistent hygiene. You know what I mean? Of making sure that you continually build up your physical. This is not a society that has ever advocated that. Okay? They have advocated the loss of weight drastically as a form of beauty, but that isn't health. That isn't health. And using it as a solitary measure, that was one of the worst measures ever. You know what I mean? I think brothers think they cut and they really just starving. right? Sisters thinks they slim and nice, and they really just anemic and gross looking. So it is not a measure of health. It is a small portion of a beginning for many people. But yo, if there's any questions and stuff, I'm rambling on in here. Again, like I said, the first plus lesson that I'm gonna fix up immediately. And again, I didn't realize how much effort I was gonna have to make to just come back here. You know what I mean? From personally to everything else, so I didn't really get to do all that stuff. But to do everything that I wanted to. But one thing's for sure, right? Is once I get the Wi-Fi passwords and stuff like that, I was inputting the network keys that I thought were correct, and they weren't correct for any of the inputs here. So that was a problem, though. You know what I mean? So we'll have to figure something out so that way we can do it though consistently. You know what I mean? And once we get that, we'll be good. We'll be very good to go. All right. All right, now. No doubt, 793rd. I know you've been emailing me too and stuff, so that's good stuff. You know what I mean? But one thing I can say is this, right? Is you have to have the reason I put so much emphasis on the build awareness square is that knowledge of self is based on you judging yourself. We've always talked about, the ancients have always talked about the judgment of others as incorrect. But the truth is they never really emphasized that the most important judgment is the judgment of self, consistently and intensely. So that's important. You know what I mean? How are you judging yourself? How are you yourself? You know what I mean? These are things that aren't really done correctly, you know what I mean? Or intensely enough. And the ancients don't really talk about that, but that's really what they say. It's just that most of the ancient texts, especially the Asian texts, they often are still at phase one, you know, or that first step of emphasis. And that first step of emphasis is always to tell you about ridding yourself of, let's say, Maya, illusion, developing your concentration and focus, right? But once we do that, once we're able to start doing that, what are we focused on and how well are we performing? You see, this is something that's not taken into account, you know? Let me pull out. I don't have my laptop plugged in. It'd be a shame though. This thing runs out and goes offline because I didn't plug it in. I did everything and then I didn't replug my laptop. All right. So we're good, John. 100%. Right. But yeah, and to the students that are in this immediate area and we haven't been in contact with, some of them contacted me. We build as far as you take it though. You know, how much are you willing to travel? How much are you willing to go? You know what I'm saying? That's what's gonna be the difference. You know what I'm saying? I'm in Savior's Island now, right? We come, you know, we'll build and you come train and we come see me. You know what I mean? Gregory said, Sunez, peace. Have you heard of Raja Yoga by Yogi Ramacharaka? It deals with building powers of focus and concentration. I have heard greatly of Yogi Ramacharaka, and the man that wrote all of those books, William Walker Atkinson, who learned with Yogi Ramacharaka and published countless books on everything he was learning, and anything that sounded or he wrote in a language that was conducive to the Western world at that time that he felt, he put it under his name, William Walker Atkinson, right? Everything else that he felt was kind of too mystical, he used his yogi's name, Yogi Ramacharaka. Yogi Ramacharaka is also the author credited for The Science of Breath. Remember classes past that showed you how to do the complete breath, which, by the way, wearing a mask, though, is the best type of breath. People are worried about over-breathing and kind of suffocating and getting too much. If you practice the complete breath, you're going to get good oxygen in there. Utilize it completely, right? That's how it looks awkwardly. In the flow, it looks like this. Bottom, middle, top. The complete breath, page 27, in The Science of Breath by Yogi Ramacharaka. If you're on Google Play and you have your Google Books, like I keep telling you, brothers and sisters, to get, let me look it up. There are collections of all these books, like Ultimate Collection, 58 books in one, William Walker Atkinson, and those include Raja Yoga. They include everything. Let me see if they give me a list. Yeah, they do. And I do have this. I have a different one actually, but it's a huge collection too. It might even be bigger than that. Or this might be the same book, just reprinted a different way. But this contains, I'm trying to see how many pages. Yeah, this contains a small amount, 985 pages. I'm kidding. But all of the books that William Walker Atkinson wrote, whether under his name, like Secrets of Mental Magic, The Art of Logical Thinking, The Law of the New Thought, The Mastery of Being, Memory, Culture, Memory, How to Develop, Train, and Use It. All of these books. I'm just reading some of the titles, though. Some of them I've read, some of them I haven't, because I haven't gotten through the entire book. Hatha Yoga, Raja Yoga is what Gregory was asking. I don't see here. Do they have the Yogi Water Cure? Right, they have the Science of Breath, obviously, but the Hindu Yogi Water Cure is also an interesting book too. But that's also one of his books too. That's P series. That's right. I had bought some of them separately in the old ways because I learned about William Walker Atkinson from the God Savior Knowledge. He used to sell these books, and I used to see them, and I was like, a lot of them were about mental thought, the projection of thought, the power of the mind. So they're books that the gods, like, if we knew about them, we would definitely be attracted to them. You know what I mean? And use them, right? And again, a lot of these books, though, I'm saying like that. If you want to go complete for $1 on Google Books, Google Play, you can buy the Google Book, which would be an EPUB, and you can really do anything with it for only 99 cents. I already bought a different collection that has pretty much all of those already, you know. So I have my own of that, you know. So, but even if you didn't want to spend 99 cents on that, which is well worth it, obviously, it's like, you know, 1,000 pages of literature. That's all useful. Most of these individual books like Raja Yoga, like by themselves, you can find them online and get them yourself. You know what I mean? So the ones that are on the list, they're easy to find. You know, you ain't gotta, you know, worry. It might even be on sacredtext.org, right? I'm not gonna look now. I'm just gonna get you the website. It's sacredtext.com. I don't know why I said org. Sacred. Let me write it because it's not. It's got a dash in there. Mr. G1, peace. Today's supreme mathematics is born. 9, I see that as fulfillment through formulation. Okay. Right, fulfillment. Obviously, you know, fulfillment is a word I like. That's the word that I use in my plus lesson, elevated fulfillment through formulation. Is it just by formulation? Because formulation would just be knowledge, wisdom, understanding, right? It may be somewhat in culture, power, equality, but not really because it's already formed. What's happening to it that becomes born is through its culture, the power it manifests, and the equality it brings, right? So, is it just through formulation, right? It's not only, okay, right? Fulfillment would be that 7, 8, 9 bracket in there. Formulation would be in that 1, 2, 3. The 4, 5, 6 would be expression. Okay. You formed it. You had this idea. You tested it, right? You used it and you came to an understanding of it. And now you what? Manifested it as your culture, right? Now, once it hits culture, you're expressing it. And then 5, right? So it shows its what? Influence over the world, over the entire, you know, said cipher, and brings about an equality, right? Right? A new position, a new way of thinking, right? That what? Now comes to fulfillment. It reaffirms you. That's a part of fulfillment. It allows you, or in this, right? If we're really thinking about it, allows you. You know, it doesn't allow you. You have created, and now you have allowed yourself the capacity to universally change because of that, and change the cipher. And now it is born, right? Yazid, peace. Okay. All right, so I only have like 10 minutes left here. Okay. So I really want y'all to again, I apologize for, you know, the lateness. I was here the whole time. I just couldn't get a password to get the Wi-Fi going until I was able to get Dark Kim's mobile hotspot. Um, you know, yeah, you know what, Yazid? I didn't think so either. I was opening. I had opened my phone and was doing. I was figuring, let me get through my required readings of the week. You know what I mean? My major required readings. There's 7 books that I'm reading, a small portion every week. Some of them are difficult. Some of them are just boring as hell. Some of them are just not, they're not that entertaining. So they don't need to go in so heavily with them. So I figured I'd fix those, get into those, right? But yeah, and I actually was about to go. The older girl was like, "They ain't know about the class, you go home." But Dark Kim knows that we have a valid and vital online presence and stuff. You know what I mean? So definitely, I think because at least a bunch of you are really actually here, so that means and you're getting updates when it actually becomes live. So that's real peace. I appreciate that. Um, it's always an honor. You know what I mean? But remember this: the goal is to not just to learn this knowledge itself, but then how will you actually live it out? You know what I'm saying? How will you live it out by building righteously? How will you live it out by teaching? How will you live it out by um, actually creating, finding out the gifts that you have? You know what I mean? Good, good, good. Hmm. It is still in production. I just recently saw an issue of it earlier, about an hour ago. Power Paper is still in production. You know. Aziz said, go back and check it out. Can you build on grown and made planets in relation to devil not settling on it? Is planet mental and the Earth? All right, let me go back a little bit further. Planets are something that's made and grown from the beginning. Understand that whatever physical form that we took, before we took the physical form, we had to make the home that we was gonna live in. So we had to make the planet. So this is something that gets religious people all the time. You know, the actual planets have to be made and grown from the beginning. In other words, that beginning is when you decide that you will be you in this physical form, right? And what I mean by you is Allah Himself, Allah us, Allah all, right? So when it says, "Can you build on grown and made planets in relation to the devil not settling on it?" Right? The best part we're also talking here about the best part, the poor part, and the worst part, right? Best part, worst part, war part. The best part, worst part, and poor part. It's becoming a tongue twister for me, right? So, in relation to the devil not settling on it, right? It was this. Even though that the devil was made to fulfill something, right? There had to be some level of preservation, okay? And I don't think that anything is made where everything is fulfilled immediately. There's trial and error, and there's reality, there's changing, you know what I mean? And so the thing about it, right? When we talk about grown and made from the beginning and the devil not settling on it, we could build on that and say Ayazid, though, that it is a mental aspect, right? But it's also a physical one. You know what I'm saying? It's also a physical one. Because if you think about it, right? The devil has stole resources to make his empires, right? But he still is not able to settle on the best part. And even as like just farmland, since we talk about farm, why is you got me into farmland, agriculture? The devil still doesn't know
to harvest the land that he is bastardizing. You know what I mean? He still needs original people to actually harvest the land and stuff. If you do research about like a lot of the South American lands and stuff, he still doesn't know how to harvest them, right? But when we look at the degrees and the devil not being settled on the best part, a lot of that though is physical. A lot of that is physical. He wasn't settled on the best part. He settled probably the worst part to live in Europe. You know what I mean? And the truth is that it's really irrelevant because if he was made weak and thus wicked, right? Then he wouldn't have done much though on the best part. When he finally gets to the poor part, we call the wilderness in North America the poor part. He really couldn't build on his own either. He needed slaves to continue. He needed to actually engage slaves to do that. And mind you, slavery already existed, but they had to formulate it in such a way and take it to the to the most peak base level of devilishment and make it an institution that funds an entire nation, right? And then with different countries, Spain, Britain, that's said nations, right? So, right. But it's a good build to think about these things also mentally as well, right? And then now you have to think yourself through all this devilishment, what best part has been preserved? Has there been a best part preserved? Because our children have been abused, raped, killed, blood sucked to become these adults that we are now. So was he kept from being settled on the best part? Right? In many ways, no. Right? So once you start building on the mental aspect, it becomes, you know what I mean? And related to the earth as well, you know what I'm saying? Because they have most of the right. They when we look at the useful land in the student enrollment, right? We got the 23 million plus the 6 million. We might have the most, but they have the most useful to blood suck, and that might have been the mind, right? We could analyze that as the mind, right? So sometimes less is not more. Okay. Does that answer your question, Ayazid? I don't know if I answered it correctly. Where it fulfill, it makes sense what I'm saying. Mr. G1, yeah, he said, "Yo, Sunez, I collect glow too, so I want to know what is your Grail low piece." I don't really collect low. You know what I'm saying? I'm literally wearing low. And I'm just saying that to make the difference that I don't really collect a piece and say, like, oh wow, this is dope. I'm gonna wear this, but I never want to wear it again and shit like that. I'm buying things to wear and I'm not spending much money on low. You know what I mean? The average cost I spend on a sweater is $30. The average cost on a shirt maybe is close to that. Maybe if a hat is real nice, I'll spend 40 or 50 on it. I'll spend 50 on it. You know what I mean? So I don't have a grail low piece because I didn't grow up wearing the low. I became low life in 2016. I started wearing this as a uniform, you know. So like now you can't see, but I'm head to toe low. You know what I mean? I'm wearing everything from my undergarments to my boots to my jeans. Everything is low. Everything. You know what I mean? So, but that's the uniform, how we conduct these hip hop maneuvers. But as far as like pieces and stuff, I don't have a grail piece like where I would want to save it and everything like that. No, I just I save them by just keeping them well kept when I wear them and stuff. You know what I mean? I have pieces that I like and stuff, but I'm a new collector. I just buy stuff that's new and I stay within the price range that's affordable for me. You know what I'm saying? I splurge if I can. You know what I mean? Which I usually can't. You know what I mean? I got kids and massive debts, so That ain't really the move. But I'll say one thing. If I could go all time, it's a pretty known piece though. But the probably if I was collecting and really cared to collect like that, because my obsession with collecting isn't with clothing unless I can wear it. I don't. I love wearing the clothes. If I collect just to collect, then it won't be the same. But my favorite piece, um, off the head, I like all of the. I like all of the sportsman stuff. I love clothes that are in the the woodland colors. You know what I'm saying? But my favorite piece, that's a classic piece. I've always loved the '94 Chief Head sweater. You know what I mean? Always love that piece. You know what I'm saying? I just love the way it looks. I love, the color, everything. That's probably my favorite piece, if anything. You know what I'm saying? Right. But easy. That's peace. God appreciate it. Questions be popping up as I go through it. That's peace. That's easy. That's peace. God appreciate it. Questions be popping up as I go through it. That's peace. That's peace. Write them down. You know what I'm saying? Write them down so that way, you know what I'm saying? We can build. Now we're at the 10 o'clock hour. I'm gonna let go. My email so you remember, so we contact and stuff. I don't know if the God Kasim, aka DJ Will Gates, is online, but contact me, guys. All right, because we got a lot of building and stuff. Um, and for the students that surround them, that live around, we could. I have time though. I'm just farther away, so if we find time, because where I'm at isn't always oasis. So some of us that train and everything, and y'all want to get into training and stuff, we definitely can do that. You know what I'm saying? Don't get it twisted though. You brothers and sisters is following. Y'all watch you studying with me or studying with Kim. We don't play no games here though. Like we ready to. There's warrior curriculums. You know what I'm saying? There's warrior curriculums. You know what I mean? You caught four of the same ones of the Navy camo with Navy horse low caps. Hey man, that's peace, man. That's peace. You know. You know what? Email me. Email me. You know what I'm saying? We'll build. You know what I'm saying? That's real peace, man. I appreciate that. You know what I mean? But yeah, email me, But yeah, if anything else, um email me, G1 IZ, keep emailing me those questions, right? Um and like I said, if you're really building, and you're showing me that you're building though, then if you're far away, like some of the students, like 13 student and everything, you build and you do the assignments I'm giving you, then we're gonna build FaceTime and we're gonna find a way to have you get this 120, even though we have to FaceTime or whatever we have to do. Okay, I'm not letting the excuse that someone is a digital student far away and they can't be the true living God. There's gonna be more expected out of you, but that's what it is. You know what I mean? That's what it is. All right. So with that said, I'm gonna let y'all brothers and sisters go. For those who logged in, who found me, who were on cue, I want to thank you. That means a lot to me. Because now when I prepare stuff like that, I work harder. So just keep emailing me. I will get to everyone. And I got some homework too. So continue with your homework though. If you don't know what the homework is, I won't repeat a homework. You contact me. I will give you some work. All right. All right. Peace to the gods. Peace to the earth. Peace to all civilized people. Peace to everyone. Peace to the savages that tuned in too. All right.